Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about rectangular prisms and we're going to talk about their surface area. So surface area is different than volume because it's covering the outside part of the shape of whatever shape we're looking at. Before we start with the actual surface area, let's review a little bit about the area of a rectangle or area of a parallelogram. They're both very, very similar, so therefore their formulas are the same. To find the area of either one of these shapes, you're going to do your length times your width. Here's a perfect example of why they would be the same. This first shape is a parallelogram. And on a parallelogram, you can see that you have two sets of parallel sides. Well, if you draw your height line to be from your top base to your bottom base, and wherever they're going to be without it slanting the line, that would be our height. Now, when we draw that height, we actually create a right triangle. And if you were to cut this piece off and move it over here to this piece, you would see it turns into a rectangle. And that's what they did over here on this second shape much better. They showed that it is now a complete rectangle. So the area of a rectangle and the area of a parallelogram are the same, and they are both the length times the width. Go ahead and pause and copy this information into your flip book. Well, let's go back and talk about surface area then. So the surface, if you think about surface, you're thinking about, okay, the outer layer of something. Well, actually, the surface area is the total area. So it's the total area of the outside of any solid that we're looking at. So let's go over here and look at our views. So surface area of a prism, we can see that there's a top side and a bottom side of a rectangular prism. There's going to be a front, and if you went around, there would be a back as well. And then there's a left side and a right side. So when we do that, when we have we can see all those different faces, that means there's 6 faces. So to find the formula, we're going to multiply the area of each face, and then we're going to add those 6 face areas together and multiply by 2. And the reason we're going to multiply by 2 is because there are actually 2 sides to each face. So if I just found the area of the top and just found the area of the front and just found the area of the left side, if I add those together and multiply by 2, that would give me the areas down here as well because we're covering up all 6 spaces. On your formula sheet, this is what you're given. Surface area is equivalent to 2 length times width plus 2 width times height plus 2 length times height. Well, my shortcut way that I'm suggesting is that we say that the surface area is our length times our width, and then our width times our height, and then our length times our height, and add those parts up and multiply by 2 at the end, and that would give us our total surface area. And surface area, since we're covering the area, are square units, so units squared. Go ahead and pause the video and put this information in your flipbook. Great. Well, let's look at the example that you have in your book. We have this rectangular prism of 7 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 2 centimeters. So we're going to say that the 2 centimeters is our width, and our 4 centimeters is our height, and our 7 centimeters is our length. All right, so we're going to need a length times a width, and a width times a height, and a height times a length. That would give us all 3 different sides. So our length times our width is now going to be 7 times 2, and that would be 14. And our width times our height is going to be 2 times 4, which gives us 8. And then we're going to have our height times our length, and our height again is 4, and our width is 7, so that gives us 28. And if we add them all up, if we add all these together, add the 28 plus the 8 plus the 14, we would get that it is equal to 50 centimeters squared. And now we want to double it because that just gave us 3 sides. So, and since we have 6 sides, we want to multiply by 2. So we would really have 100 square centimeters to cover this entire shape. Go ahead and copy this information into your flipbook now. Well, here is a different example, and they've actually shown this example in 2 different ways. So we have our 3D image shown in our first example, 3 times 5 times 4. And then we have this other shape, and it looks like it's actually the exact same shape, but they cut it up and laid it flat. And this is what we call a net. So this net is the shapes laying flat on each other. Okay? We're going to do exactly the same thing. So we're going to do our length times our width times our height, and our height times our length. So here we have our length, our width, and our height. So length times width, that's really going to give us this bottom shape down there. So the length is 5, and our width is 3, so that's going to give us 15. Now, our width times our height, so width times height, that's going to give us this top area. So let me get rid of that. That's going to give us this side, this front shape right here. Okay? Our width right here times our height right here will give us this front area. So our width is 3 and our height is 4, so that will give us 12. Okay? Excellent. All right, well, now let's go back and let's see what would it be if we wanted to find the last one, which is our height times our length. So our height times our length would actually be this part back here. So this back section back here, our height times our length. So our height is 4 and our length is 5, so that would make it 20. Now, so that would be that last one. So we had our bottom shape and our back shape and our front shape. But we know that's only 3 shapes. So we're going to add these together. So we're going to have 20 plus 12 plus 15. And we're going to get 47. But we know that there's two of each side. So we're now going to multiply this times 2. So we're going to multiply by 2, and we're going to see that the total surface area is 94 centimeters squared. And you can see that these numbers are exactly the same. So you can do 4 times 5 to get our number, and 5 times 3 to get our number, and 3 times 4 to get our number, and then multiply by 2. Well, I'm going to teach you a shortcut right now, or show you a shortcut, if you'd like to do this. So, here's what we're going to do. Instead of really determining who is the length, who is the width, and who's the height, and did I get everybody, I'm going to show you a shortcut by just going around in a big circle. So if you took 6 times 4 right here, that would make 24 centimeters squared. And 4 times 5 would be 20 centimeters squared. And if we do 5 and go around, 5 times 6, that makes 30 centimeters squared. So if we have 30 and 20 and 24, that would give us a total of 74 centimeters squared. But we know that that was just part of it. So we had our top part there, this top here, and of course, this on top. And we know that there's 6 of them. So we're going to multiply the whole thing times 2, and we would get that it's 148 centimeters squared because we're talking about the surface area. Very good. All right. Well, tonight's homework, I want you to find the total surface area for each one of these rectangular prisms. You have this one built out of cubes and then another flatter box. And I want you to go ahead and copy this information in your notebook and do it. Tomorrow we will go over them and answer any questions you might have. Talk to you later. Thanks so much.